Hi there. In this video, you'll learn how to solve problems that require loops inside of other loops, or nested loops. In a previous lesson, you learned what a for loop looks like. Recall that everything in the for loop is indented by one level. You can also have a for loop inside a for loop. Everything in the outer for loop is still indented by one level. Everything in the inner for loop is indented by another level. Okay, I want you to look at this little program and temporarily ignore everything but the outer for loop. Great, done. Now, just know that whatever is in the box runs 4 times. It just so happens to be some code that prints hello 3 times. That means hello prints a total of 4 times 3 or 12 times. Here's another example of a double for loop. Let's trace through it to see what it does. The first line creates the variable I. Remember, I starts out at 0 unless, of course, we specify otherwise, which we don't in this case. The second line creates the variable j, which also starts out at 0. We print I times j, which is just 0. Since we're still in the inner for loop and it hasn't finished yet, we only loop back to the top of the inner loop. J becomes 1 and I remains unchanged. Basically, the inner for loop keeps chugging along, and until it's done, you don't really need to think about the outer for loop. You just need to remember that the value of I is currently 0. Now, at this point, j has reached its maximum value, so the inner for loop is done. The interpreter would move on to whatever code was below the loop it just finished. As long as the outer loop still has work to do, the interpreter will return to the top of the outer loop once it's done with the inner loop. Notice that I is now 1. We now begin the inner for loop anew, and j is set back to 0. 1 times 0 is 0. J becomes 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Cool. Finally something that isn't 0. J becomes 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And now that the inner for loop is finished, we return to the top of the outer loop. I is now 2. Set j back to 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Set j to 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Set j to 2. 2 times 2 is 4. The inner for loop is done, which is the point where we would have returned to the top of the outer for loop, except the outer for loop is done too. This means the entire double for loop is done, and the interpreter can move on to whatever code follows it. Okay, remember that if a box is inside a for loop and the number inside range is 4, whatever is in the box will run 4 times. Surprise! The box can also contain a while loop. By itself, the box prints the numbers 2 through 5 in decreasing order. Since the box is inside the for loop, this happens 4 times. Let's look at a smaller example of a while loop inside a for loop and trace through it. I'm going to go through these slides a bit quicker than I did with the last example, and I encourage you to step through them on your own. So we make a variable called I, print it, set a variable called x to 3, check to see if x is greater than 1, which is true, print the value of x preceded by a couple spaces, and subtract 1 from x. 2 is still greater than 1, print x, subtract 1. 1 is no longer greater than 1, so the while loop is finished. That means we loop back to the top of the for loop, and I takes on its next value, 1. We print it, reset x to 3, and go through the while loop again. Print x, subtract, check the condition, print x, subtract, condition is false, and the while loop is finished, so we go back to the top of the for loop. I is now 2. Print it, set x to 3, check the condition, print x, subtract 1, check the condition, print x, subtract 1, condition is false, and at this point, since I has reached its maximum value, the for loop is also over, so we move on to whatever code is after the double loop.